My beloved, before you try to understand what is happening in your life, I want you to rest here with me for a moment. Not to solve, not to fix, not to analyze, but to breathe and to be present. You have been carrying questions that do not have immediate answers, and that weight has followed you quietly, even into moments meant for rest. I see that. Nothing about your inner struggle has gone unnoticed. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not failing some unseen test. You are in a season of becoming, and becoming often feels like standing in the middle of something unfinished. I know how uncomfortable that can be. You want clarity before movement, certainty before commitment, reassurance before surrender. But clarity is not always given at the beginning. Sometimes it is formed as you walk. I am aware of the choices you regret, the paths you replay, the words you wish you had spoken differently. I am also aware of the strength it took to survive what you did, with the understanding you had at the time. Do not punish yourself for not knowing then what you know now. Growth does not move backward. It honors what came before and builds upon it. This moment you are in is not accidental. It is quieter than you expected, subtler than you imagined, but it is meaningful. Something within you has already shifted. You sense it in the way old patterns no longer satisfy you, in the way familiar answers feel incomplete, in the way your heart asks for honesty instead of escape. That is not confusion. That is awareness awakening. As you listen, do not rush ahead. Let these words settle where striving cannot reach. You are not here to be overwhelmed. You are here to be aligned. And as we continue, you will begin to see that what feels uncertain right now is not the absence of guidance. It is the invitation to walk with me more consciously than ever before. My child, I know how long you have been carrying this weight without language for it. I know the quiet exhaustion that settles in when you have done everything you knew how to do and still found yourself waiting. I know how patience can begin to feel like invisibility, how endurance can blur into doubt. I want you to hear this clearly before anything else unfolds. I have been aware of you in every moment you thought you were overlooked. Not a single step you took in sincerity escaped my attention. You have lived through seasons where your effort did not match the outcome, where your faithfulness was met with delay, where your growth happened privately, while others seemed to move forward visibly. That has been confusing for you. You wondered if you misheard me, if you waited too long, if you gave too much, if you misunderstood the assignment of your life. Those questions were not signs of weakness. They were the natural response of a heart that cared deeply and stayed engaged even when clarity was withheld. I want to relieve you of one burden you have been carrying unnecessarily. Nothing you endured was wasted. Not the waiting, not the detours, not the moments you replay in your mind wishing you had chosen differently. You acted with the understanding you had then. You made decisions from the level of awareness available to you at the time. I do not measure you by hindsight. I walk with you in real time, and in real time, you did not quit. You adapted. You learned. You stayed open even when disappointment tempted you to close. You may not have recognized it as preparation, but much of what you lived through was shaping your discernment. I was teaching you how to listen beneath noise, how to notice what drains you versus what steadies you, how to sense alignment even when it does not arrive with excitement. These are not small skills. They cannot be rushed. They are formed through lived experience, through tension that refines rather than breaks. That is why I did not remove every obstacle quickly. I was not withholding from you. I was forming you. I know you have judged yourself harshly for moments you wish you could rewrite. You have replayed conversations, decisions, relationships, believing that if you had been wiser sooner, you would be further along by now. But wisdom grows through experience, not avoidance. You could not have skipped the learning and still carried what I am placing in your hands now. Forgiveness, especially toward yourself, is not excusing the past. It is releasing it from defining your future. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to choose differently as your understanding deepens. There were times you felt as though you were standing still while life moved around you. In truth, much of your growth happened inwardly, where it was not immediately visible. You were learning restraint. You were learning patience without passivity. You were learning how to remain present without certainty. These lessons do not announce themselves, but they alter the foundation of a life. When the time comes for visible movement, you will not be easily shaken, because your roots go deeper than appearance. I want you to notice something important about this season. Old narratives no longer hold the same authority over you. Stories you once told yourself about who you were, what you deserved, or what was possible, are loosening their grip. That can feel unsettling. Familiar identities, even painful ones, provide a sense of predictability. Letting them go introduces uncertainty. But uncertainty paired with awareness is not danger. It is fertile ground. It allows for intention rather than reaction. It allows you to participate in your life rather than merely endure it. You are beginning to ask different questions now. Not just, what can I do? But, what is honest? That shift matters. Honesty will refine your path. It will quietly remove options that look appealing but cost too much internally. It will highlight directions that feel less impressive but more sustainable. This discernment is not meant to limit you. It is meant to protect the peace you have worked so hard to cultivate. I know the waiting tested you. I know there were moments you wondered if staying faithful to your values was costing you too much. But hear me. Integrity always feels expensive before it proves invaluable. The restraint you practiced when you could have forced outcomes preserved you from carrying success that would have hollowed you out. The doors that did not open saved you from rooms where you would have had to shrink to stay. What felt like denial was often protection. There will come a time when you look back at certain losses and recognize them as redirections. The ending of a relationship that forced you to reclaim yourself. The opportunity that fell apart and spared you from a future that looked promising but felt empty. The season of isolation that taught you how to stand without constant reassurance. At the time, these felt like setbacks. In hindsight, they will feel like care. I am not asking you to romanticize pain. Pain is real. It leaves marks. But pain held within meaning becomes formative rather than destructive. You are moving toward that context now. You are beginning to see that the confusion you feel is not evidence of failure, but proximity to transformation. From the inside, growth rarely makes sense. Understanding often arrives later, once perspective widens and urgency softens. Right now, your task is not to have everything figured out. It is to stay present, to resist bitterness, to remain curious instead of closed, to allow awareness to deepen without demanding immediate resolution. You are learning patience not as passive waiting, but as trust in unfolding. Trust that what is being formed within you will be revealed in time, and that revelation will be worth the pace at which it arrives. I want you to rest in this truth. You are not late to your life. You are not missing what is meant for you. You are being prepared to steward what is coming with clarity, humility, and steadiness. This chapter is not about dramatic change. It is about recognition, seeing yourself honestly, seeing me as present, seeing that the ground beneath you has been strengthening even when you felt unsure. Stay here with me a little longer. Let the self-judgment loosen. Let the need to rush subside. What is forming does not require panic. It requires trust. And trust is something you are already learning how to carry, even if you do not yet recognize how far you have come. My beloved, there is a shift taking place now. Not loud, not sudden, but real. You are crossing from a season defined by endurance into one shaped by intentional movement. This does not mean everything becomes easy. It means the waiting that once felt heavy begins to feel purposeful. What you endured is no longer only something behind you. It is something you now carry as wisdom. And wisdom changes how you move. This is how transitions often begin, not with dramatic announcements, but with a quiet inner knowing that what once fit no longer does. You may notice that old motivations feel hollow, that certain pursuits no longer energize you, that you hesitate before returning to patterns that once felt automatic. This hesitation is not confusion, it is discernment awakening. You are learning to pause not out of fear, but out of clarity. I am bringing an end to a season where reaction guided your choices. You no longer need to respond from urgency, from comparison, or from the need to prove your worth. You have already been proven faithful in private. Now you are being invited to live from alignment rather than effort. Alignment will not always feel exciting, but it will feel steady. It will support you instead of draining you. As this transition unfolds, your relationships will begin to change. Some will deepen because they are rooted in truth rather than convenience. Others may naturally loosen because they were sustained by versions of you that no longer exist. This is not loss as punishment. It is refinement. You are no longer required to maintain connections that ask you to abandon your clarity. You will begin to value mutual presence over constant reassurance, honesty over harmony, depth over familiarity. In this new season, you will also relate to provision differently. Finances, opportunities, and resources will be approached with greater discernment. You are learning that increase without integrity creates anxiety, but provision aligned with purpose creates peace. I am not rushing you into abundance. I am teaching you how to steward what arrives without fear or excess attachment. What you build now will be built to last, because it is being formed with patience and restraint. Your health, both physical and internal, will also be affected by this shift. You will become more attentive to what restores you and less tolerant of what depletes you. Rest will no longer feel like something you earn after exhaustion. It will become part of how you live. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. A life that is meant to carry responsibility must also carry rhythm. Your calling is expanding, though it may not yet have a clear name. You may feel drawn toward contribution rather than achievement, toward meaning rather than momentum. This does not mean you stop striving altogether. It means you strive with intention. You will begin to sense where your presence makes a difference and where your effort is merely noise. That awareness will guide you more reliably than ambition ever could. Inner peace will also take on a new quality. It will no longer depend entirely on external stability. You will notice that even when circumstances remain unresolved, there is a steadiness within you that was not there before. This peace does not remove challenge. It anchors you while you face it. You recover more quickly now. You course correct sooner. You recognize misalignment before it becomes entanglement. Do not expect this expansion to happen all at once. Growth that endures unfolds gradually. There will be moments when you question whether anything is changing because the shifts are subtle. But subtle does not mean insignificant. A small adjustment in direction changes the destination entirely. Each honest choice compounds. Each time you choose alignment over approval, clarity over comfort, you strengthen the path you are walking. You may feel moments of fear as the old season releases its hold. Familiar struggles, even painful ones, provided structure. Letting go of them can feel like stepping into open space. But this openness is not emptiness. It is possibility shaped by awareness. You are no longer confined to scripts written by circumstance. You are participating in a life shaped by intention. I am not asking you to rush ahead or to demand immediate results. I am asking you to stay present as this expansion takes place, to listen more carefully, to choose more deliberately, to trust that what feels quieter now is actually more sustainable. Loud beginnings often fade, gentle foundations endure. There will be days when you want clearer confirmation that you are on the right path. Remember this: clarity that whispers tends to remain longer than clarity that shouts. Pay attention to where peace settles after difficult decisions. Notice where resistance grows when you try to return to old patterns. These are forms of guidance, consistent and reliable. You are also allowed to move imperfectly through this season. Doubt may resurface. Fatigue may slow you. None of that disqualifies you. What matters is your willingness to remain honest and to return to alignment without shame. Progress is not linear, but it is directional, and your direction is changing. As you continue, you will notice new forms of support emerging. People who recognize who you are becoming rather than who you were. Opportunities that align with your integrity rather than test it. Rhythms that restore instead of exhaust. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that you are moving with intention. This season is not about arrival. It is about expansion, of awareness, of capacity, of trust. You are learning how to move forward without needing to see the entire path. Each step will reveal the next, and that will be enough. You are not meant to carry the future all at once. You are meant to carry the present honestly. Stay with me here. Let the transition unfold without force. What is changing within you is preparing you not just to receive what comes next, but to steward it with wisdom, humility, and peace. My child, what I am entrusting to you now is not a reward for endurance, nor a prize for surviving difficulty. It is a responsibility shaped by relationship. You are stepping into a season where awareness becomes stewardship, where what you carry within you must be tended with care. This is not a weight meant to burden you. It is a trust meant to steady you. You are no longer living merely to get through your days. You are learning how to live awake within them. That awareness changes what you tolerate, what you pursue, and how you measure success. You will begin to sense that some opportunities, though attractive, ask too much of your integrity. Others, quieter and less impressive, will offer space for truth to grow. Choosing wisely now matters more than choosing quickly. I am not calling you to control your future. I am inviting you to align with it. Alignment does not demand perfection. It asks for honesty sustained over time. It asks that you listen when something within you signals misalignment, and that you respond without self-betrayal. This response may not always be visible to others. Much of your stewardship will be internal before it ever becomes external. You will notice that what once motivated you no longer holds the same power. Proving yourself, seeking approval, rushing toward outcomes, these impulses are losing their grip. In their place, a quieter strength is forming. You are learning to value consistency over intensity, presence over performance, faithfulness over recognition. These choices may feel ordinary, but they shape a life that can be trusted with more. What I place before you now will unfold gradually. I am not handing you the entire future at once because you are not meant to carry it all today. You are meant to carry this moment with care. Stewardship begins with how you treat your time, your energy, your attention. It is revealed in how you rest, how you listen, how you choose when no one is watching. These are the places where alignment is protected. There will be moments when you are tempted to rush ahead, to secure certainty, to demand guarantees. Resist that impulse gently. Urgency often disguises fear. Trust allows space. I am not withholding clarity from you. I am inviting you into a way of living where clarity emerges through faithful presence rather than forceful planning. Each step taken honestly will illuminate the next. As your identity settles, responsibility will increase, not as pressure, but as capacity. You will find yourself able to hold complexity without losing peace, to face challenge without panic, to lead without dominating. This is not because circumstances will always be favorable, but because your center is becoming steadier. You are learning where your strength truly comes from. Humility will be essential in this season, not the kind that diminishes you, but the kind that keeps you teachable. You will continue to learn, to adjust, to refine your understanding. Mistakes may still happen. When they do, return to alignment without shame. Correction guided by awareness strengthens you. Condemnation only distracts you. You may notice that your life begins to speak for itself. Without explanation, your choices will communicate clarity. Your boundaries will teach others how to treat you. Your steadiness will offer reassurance without words. This is stewardship in motion. You are not meant to convince or perform. You are meant to live what you have come to understand. There will be days when doubt revisits you, when progress feels slow, when old patterns attempt to resurface. Do not interpret this as failure. Growth does not erase challenge. It reframes it. You will recognize sooner when something is out of alignment. You will recover more quickly. You will choose differently with less regret. These are signs that what you are carrying is integrated, not temporary. Remember that relationship remains greater than outcome. What we are building together is not centered on achievement, but on trust. Trust that you are not alone in your decisions. Trust that guidance continues even when it is quiet. Trust that what is unfolding is meaningful, even when it is slow. I am not distant from your future. I am present within your process. As you look ahead, do not measure your life by comparison. Your path is shaped by the particular formation you have undergone. What you have endured has prepared you for a role that cannot be replicated by anyone else. This does not elevate you above others. It positions you within purpose. Steward that position with gratitude rather than entitlement. You are learning how to carry blessing without grasping, responsibility without fear, direction without rigidity. These balances require attentiveness. They ask you to remain present, to listen often, to return to stillness when noise increases. Make space for reflection. Make room for rest. These are not distractions from your calling. They are how your calling remains sustainable. When uncertainty arises, remember this. You are not being asked to predict what comes next. You are being asked to participate faithfully in what is here. The future will meet you as you meet the present, with honesty, patience, and willingness. This is how alignment continues. There will come moments when you forget, when life's pace pulls your attention outward, when old urgencies resurface. When that happens, return gently. There is no punishment for forgetting. There is only invitation to remember. Remember what steadied you. Remember what clarified you. Remember that you were not shaped by accident. This chapter does not end with resolution. It settles into rhythm, a way of living that honors awareness, stewardship, and trust. What lies ahead will require you, but it will also support you. You are not stepping into emptiness. You are stepping into accompaniment. Walk forward calmly. Choose honestly. Rest when needed. And know that as long as you remain attentive and willing, you will continue to be guided. Not loudly, not dramatically, but faithfully, step by step, into a future shaped by alignment rather than reaction. Stay with me. That has always been enough. My beloved, there is a quiet truth I want to settle into you now. What is unfolding does not require a new version of you. It requires your continued presence. Growth is not asking you to become someone else. It is asking you to remain with what has already been formed. Many lose their way not because they fail, but because they abandon what was patiently built once the season changes. I am inviting you to abide. Abiding does not mean standing still. It means staying rooted while you move. It means allowing what has taken shape within you to guide how you respond as life continues to unfold. There will be new demands, new responsibilities, new questions. They do not negate what you have learned. They call for it. You are not beginning again. You are continuing with greater awareness. You may notice that life resumes its pace quickly. Responsibilities return. Expectations surface. The world does not pause to acknowledge internal shifts. This can make you wonder whether what you experienced was temporary or imagined. It was neither. What was integrated does not disappear simply because it is no longer dramatic. It becomes quieter. And quiet does not mean weak. Quiet means stable. You are learning how to carry insight without needing to revisit it constantly. At first, awareness feels vivid, almost fragile, as though it might slip away if you are not careful. Over time, it settles into instinct. You begin to respond differently without deliberate effort. You notice misalignment sooner. You choose rest without justification. You speak with clarity rather than urgency. These changes may seem small, but they reveal that what was awakened has taken root. There will be moments when old patterns attempt to reassert themselves. Familiar reactions may surface under stress. Do not be alarmed. This is not regression. It is invitation. An invitation to respond differently than before. Each time you choose presence over panic, honesty over avoidance, alignment over approval, you reinforce what is becoming natural to you. Practice is not failure. Practice is how wisdom lives. I want you to release the expectation that growth should feel like constant progress. Much of maturation feels like repetition with refinement. You will encounter similar situations, but you will not meet them as the same person. Your responses will be steadier. Your recovery will be faster. Your discernment will be clearer. This is how change proves itself, not by novelty, but by consistency. You are also learning how to live without constant reassurance. Earlier seasons required signs, confirmations, and repeated clarity to keep you moving. Now, trust is becoming internalized. You sense when something is right without needing it to be explained. You feel when something is misaligned, even if it looks successful. This sensitivity is not fragility. It is attunement. Guard it gently. Abiding also means honoring your limits. You are not meant to be endlessly available, endlessly productive, endlessly strong. Stewardship includes knowing when to pause, when to decline, when to rest without apology. Burnout does not come from caring too much. It comes from ignoring the wisdom that tells you when enough is enough. You are allowed to live sustainably. There will be seasons ahead when your clarity benefits others more than you realize. Your steadiness will become a reference point. Your calm will create space. Your boundaries will model permission. This is not something you need to seek. It will emerge naturally as you remain aligned. Influence rooted in presence does not strive to be seen. It is felt. Do not underestimate the power of quiet faithfulness. Loud beginnings often attract attention, but enduring impact is formed through repeated, unseen choices. How you speak when you are tired. How you listen when you are misunderstood. How you return to integrity when compromise would be easier. These moments shape the kind of life that can be trusted with depth. You may still wish for clearer markers of arrival, moments that confirm you have reached where you are meant to be. Remember this: arrival is not a place you reach. It is a way of walking. You arrive again and again each time you choose alignment. Fulfillment is not postponed until the future. It is experienced in the present when you live truthfully. As time passes, you will forget the sharpness of earlier struggle. The intensity of waiting will soften in your memory. That forgetting is natural. But do not forget the trust that carried you through it. That trust is still active. It will be needed again, not because you failed, but because life continues to unfold in layers.